Welcome to the Perspective Podcast, where we embrace open dialogue from different perspectives about entrepreneurship, relationships, and education.
And this open dialogue is needed, especially today, as we live in a Twitter finger society where everyone seems to care more about getting their point across than they are about hearing the other person's perspective.
If you're ready to grow your business, your relationships, and your personal development, stick with us here at the Perspective Podcast, because sometimes in life, to get to the next level, you just need a different perspective.
If I look like what I've been through, I'd be roadkill. Tell me off of the pavement, I'm reeking from the...
Two. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Mouzon. Got my boy T here with me. Say what's up, T.
What's going on, family?
Guys, we're back for another week of the crypto series, right? We are diving in. We are getting in, giving you the perspectives that you need, because again, this murky world of blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and all these things that are out there, we want to hear your perspective, but we also want to give you some genuine perspectives of people in the industry. So we have another quality couple here with us this week. We go way back. We're actually doing some business back in the day, and I've watched them grow, got back in touch with them on social. We were just talking about Clubhouse before we jumped on this recording, but this couple is crushing it in the Bitcoin world, blockchain world, and we wanted to have them on to share their perspective. So welcome to the show, Miss Najah and Dimitri Roberts. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, we already kind of gave you some background on why we're having this podcast and, you know, what the Perspective Podcast is really about. So we want to dive right in and get your perspective now. Introduce yourselves to the audience. Let everyone know kind of, you know, who you are, what it is that you guys are doing now in the space, and then we'll jam from there.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. My name is Najah Roberts, and we own actually one of the first brick and mortar cryptocurrency exchanges in the US. We just happen to be Black owned, and we are focusing, so you can walk in, buy and sell cryptocurrency for those people that are unbanked and that don't have the ability to hook a bank account to their whatever platform that is. They can come in with cash. They can buy and sell cryptocurrency, but we also do online stuff too. But our focus is education, and that's where we are.
Yes, and we also
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Dimitri Roberts.
That's it. We got it.
But we also have a hands-on approach for people that are new to the space. And I work the over-the-counter, which is the OTC. And what that is, it's when people come in to purchase crypto. And so what I do is I talk to them on the phone. I do customer service, and as well as hold their hands and walk them through the process as a newbie. So I show them how to set up a wallet, open their wallet, get their wallet address, move things around, and how to receive and send crypto. So that's one of the things that we do that other exchanges don't do, because most other exchanges, or all of them, don't even have a number where you can call anyone for customer service or anything like that. So that's the difference between us and the big boys. But we actually hold our folks' hands and help them, and they are much appreciated, because there's nothing like sending money and you don't know if it's there or not, or you don't know what's going on. But we actually, hey, this is it. This is what's going on. And they see it pop in their wallet as we're actually talking on the phone, and they love it. So that's what we do. And the educational part, what we do for the community as well. We have, I'm sure Najah talked about the camp that we do every year for the children. And we have classes, indoor classes, and online classes. Yeah. So we do a lot of things for the community, and we love helping people.
Nice, man. Nice.
I will say, can I jump in really quick? So me and Najah, where were y'all at about 2 weeks ago when I ended up setting up like 13 different wallets, not knowing if I was gonna get my money in the right place or not?
I was on Clubhouse telling everybody to ping everybody they know. So I I can teach what I'm about to talk about today.
Blame Chris. I blame Chris.
Don't blame
It took
me.
me like 30,000 years to try to figure out how to get my money where it's going. And I thought it was lost for so many different times.
Well, we're
awesome.
here. That's why we have them on, right, T? So everyone else can now pick up this info.
Yes.
But talk about it, guys. Like, why Bitcoin? Why an exchange? Why did you get in the space? This is not, common for our community to open a brick and mortar exchange on like crypto side. So why this?
So for me, Chris, it's ironic that I sit here with you on the other end of this. I was at a financial service institution that I was very unhappy with. Not necessarily because of the products and services, but just really sitting kneecap to people that I knew the insurance would help a little. And once they were gone, it would help a lot. You know what I mean? You can borrow, that helps a little. But when you're gone, it helps the family a lot. And those are not the wealth gap changing types of things that we need in our community. And I mean, and I'm not saying they don't need that. They absolutely need life insurance and annuities like they need that. But when you're looking at the absolutely horrific wealth gap, I was wondering what in the world can we do to close this wealth gap, because life insurance is just not going to do that. On a whole, for the group of people that no matter how much you talk to them about it, they still wind up doing a GoFundMe because either they got the insurance and they canceled it, or just the stigma around life insurance in our community. And I was really frustrated, to be quite honest. And so I was looking and really asking God, like, what is my purpose here? I know I'm supposed to help my people financially, and this is what I got into this for, but traditionally or historically, this is not the answer. Like, they're not really receptive. And so I found an online course on a Friday. And I got on this course on Friday, and it was supposed to be 3 days to take us through this whole new thing about cryptocurrency. So I've known about Bitcoin because Dimitri and I have had friends that are mining and doing some of those things in the past. They had come to explain Bitcoin. There were some things that had happened prior to this, but when I really understood what was happening was that weekend on a Friday. And by the time Monday came, I said, I'm not going back to Transamerica, National Life. And I want to take our office that I was renting and renovate it and start learning about cryptocurrency. And so that's
what year was this, Naj?
2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
2017.
Okay. Was that pre-drop or post-drop?
Actually, we were in the middle of that $17,000 run.
Okay.
And a lot of us purchased Bitcoin on that weekend. And when the price goes up, everybody's super excited and everybody wants to get some Bitcoin. And we'll kind of go into what happened, but that's how I started down the rabbit hole. When I went down that rabbit hole and I saw the possibility, finally, of something that could close the wealth gap, I said, this is it. And then I started seeking out different conferences and going to all this stuff and just getting in the crypto space. And there were no Black people anywhere. Out of 3,000, 5,000, I don't care where I went, it was just me and him. I would look up, I would tell him, I said, is it just me or are the cameras following us? Like, they didn't take a picture of us.
When you're on page 2 of the book.
Right.
It's like, I'm like, what is this? And like, why are we not really getting into this? And so while we were in the renovation stage, Dimitri came home. Well, I'll let him tell, but how I actually got the brick and mortar started was him. So
I'll tell you guys my story. So I have a friend of mine, real close friend of mine. I've known since over 30 years. And he and another guy, Mike, they were telling me something about crypto, Mike. And I was just like, whatever. It's just, I was in the financial industry. And I just didn't understand. He was like, digital money, cyberpunks, and so forth, and blah, blah. And I was like, whatever, man. And so they got to these things called mining machines. And it was over my head. It really was. And so this was about probably 9 years, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I was like, okay, whatever, guys. And so when I found out that a friend of mine, they had broke 2 mining machines, and I was like, see, it doesn't work. But they were getting coins as they were breaking these machines. They were heating up and breaking. And so when I really took it serious, when his father had unloaded his whole 401k, liquidated it, and bought all Bitcoin. So I said, this is serious. I really need to know about this. So I called him in the office, and we had an office at the time in what's that, Gardena?
Yeah, Gardena.
And I said, hey, Mike, I need you to come down and explain this to me and my wife again. I know you did it before, man, but just.
He's leaving out the part. His real name is White Boy Mike.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the hood, right? His name is White Boy Mike. And he was the one whose father liquidated his 401k.
So that was D is like, yo, if there's a white guy, some old white guy that has a bunch of money in his 401k, putting it in Bitcoin. We need to pay attention to this.
We need to pay attention to this.
Turn it over into an annuity, yeah.
He's trying to roll it over into annuity.
And he drops it in Bitcoin. And I was like, let me see, let me learn more about this. So Mike came to the office, and he broke it down to us, simple and plain. And so at that point, my wife was kind of already like, okay, on the fence about it, right before she went through the rabbit hole. A couple of days later, I'm in another city, and I see crypto.
San Pedro.
So I see crypto on the wall, huge. And the guy's remodeling. And, from the work that we, do, Chris, and I learned how to just go talk to anybody and whatever. So I just popped in and just opened his door, actually, and I just started talking to him. And the guys, we sat there for about a good hour and a half talking in front of the shop where they was doing construction. So I asked him, what's going on, blah, blah. And he was just telling me, hey, this is going to be the new thing. It's a cafe. We're going to sell crypto, blah, blah, this and that. And so I said, you know what, man, I want you to meet my wife because she's into it right now. She just went through the rabbit hole about a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, great, I would love to. So they hit it off, and he's married, and we all hit it off as a couple. And they had a grand opening. We went to the grand opening, and from there, I really had the thought of, okay, maybe we can open up one of these. We had an office, and we weren't really doing anything. We were kind of on the fence about the financial institution that we were doing. So we figured, okay, well, let's try this. And because we knew that we had a future in this.
Well, what actually happens? Explain to the audience a bit. What happens at a cafe or at an exchange, right? That's a brick and mortar. Like, what's its purpose?
Okay, so the purpose was for people, because a lot of people don't know about this space, this thing right here, this crypto is new to a lot of people, even today. And so what we wanted to do was have people come in an environment that's not intimidating, but that is comfortable for them. So they can come in, have a seat, and feel like they're at home, and we can explain to them exactly what we do and how we help people and where it's going to be in the future. And we have to get people's minds wrapped around this. It's kind of hard wrapping people's minds around some digital currency, something that's not tangible. And so my wife does a class called The Evolution of Money. It's pretty much, it tells people, it shows them at the very beginning how paper money or greenbacks weren't the thing of currency. So we start off with the rocks. People used to trade rocks. And in some parts, I think it was Easter Island, I'm not sure, but they used to scratch a rock, and that was your currency. So your family wealth was basically, you go and carve into a rock, and that's the Mouzon currency right there. That's the fact, that's their wealth, oddly enough. And so, fast forward to today, and we say, hey, this is, money, and this is where it's going. And once you go from that process to today, people kind of wrap their head around it. And they're like, oh, okay, now I understand. Yeah. So that's what we wanted to portray, to educate our folks. And that's where, and have it where it's comfortable, where we can step on their level.
Sure, that makes sense.
On our level. So that was our process right there.
But the challenge then becomes, like he said, helping them wrap their minds around it, but to really have a space where people can come and be like, well, this thing must be something because this is beautiful. So like in our space in Inglewood, we renovated where we look like we're in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So they see the outside of the building in the neighborhood that we're in, which we're like a block from the Ram Stadium. It's like, oh my goodness, this is, you know, you're in the neighborhood. But when they step inside, they are like, oh my goodness. Like I never would have thought this was inside of this building. And that begins to open people's mind to the possibility, whatever reason, you know, you gotta be us to understand our thinking, right?
Yeah.
And so so we've started that, just that mental switch. So when they come in, they're in another space, all the pictures are Bitcoin, all the pillows are Bitcoin, the rugs are Bitcoin, like everything in there brings people into understanding the space. What?
I just want to add something. We were at an event and another guy was telling the guy about our office, and the guy was like, Inglewood, you know, I don't want to go to Inglewood, you know, it's shady over there. And so the guy explained it, which it was so funny, but I was ear hustling, but I wasn't right, you know, in his view. Yeah. And he said, you know what? It's like, really, you got to go there, but when you step in, it's like Narnia.
When you walk through the closet.
He was like, never mind the outside. When you get in, man, it's like Narnia. I'm telling you, you got to go.
And my outside wasn't bad, but it was just the neighborhood. We pay. I mean, our entire building we renovated inside and out, and
we
so
painted the whole outside black.
The outside is black.
It's just black.
This is our colors, black.
Yeah. So when you come in, you have to buzz in and so forth, and it was just like, you know. So the guy actually came about a year. We do a Christmas event, and the guy came in, and he could not leave. The guy was just
nobody wants to go home.
He did not want to go home. He was so apologetic. I'm like, dude, just enjoy yourself. He brought his wife, and they had a ball. They didn't want to leave. And mind you, these are people from, you know, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, and and they just thought it was going to be something totally different. And we had to really try and kick them out because they did not want to leave.
And ironically, if you look at like our grand opening pictures, even the grand opening, like there were very few Black people. It was everybody else because this crypto space, it was yearning for a place where they could come and get together, where you can talk to somebody that's speaking your language.
That understands what you're talking about.
That understands you because you're talking to friends and family and they like, get out of here with that scammy stuff. Like, you'll see. And so this was a place where people could just get together and talk. And I think for the first year, I really just had to just kind of submerge myself in another culture to just try to understand their philosophy and what they were telling and teaching their friends, only to find out they were having the same struggles we were having. And so, but I really sought counsel, like coming from financial services, dressing up every single day to go out. I wear Chuck Taylors every day and half for the last 3 years. My holy jeans, my t-shirts, because when I was going to these conferences, sitting next to these guys, I'm watching them on these wallets transferring 80 and 150,000. They got holes in the bottom of their shoes. Like, that's not how we operate as folks. We got to go get the best Jordans and the this and the that. And it was just like a whole shift. Like, oh my God, I'm sitting here in the conference and I'm looking down and I'm like, he just transferred $80,000 to another wallet. And I'm like, okay, we're doing something
different. Our priorities are off.
Which I already knew, but it was more of a confirmation, just sitting and kind of listening. And then I found that, being the only Black, like everybody was open to hearing, helping. I'll say that. Helping, like, you need this, I got this, and so they really pulled together. I became like the token, like I became the token crypto girl, the Black crypto
girl. Yes.
We're good. I'm good. But I found that dressing down and not being, I don't know, the financial service thing. I got a lot more of the anxiety away from, kind of dealing with me. So
I have a question. You talk about the office, right? Now, obviously with crypto becoming more mainstream for the most part, right? At least people know about it. They heard about it. Somebody said something. Are you starting to see more of an influx of folks coming in to try to catch this wave? Or like you see them chasing the money? Or are you seeing more people come in around like, hey, I really want to understand this first?
Well, let me say this quickly. The majority of people have not heard about Bitcoin.
Okay.
So when I actually drive a car on purpose, a little bug, I call it my BTC bug, and it has Bitcoin, why buy Bitcoin on the side. In
Okay.
our community, nobody reacts. I can go to Long Beach, Watts, Inglewood, nobody reacts at all. When I get on the west side, Santa Monica, Melrose, Beverly Hills, I got guys yelling, whoa! They're like taking pictures. Like in our community, we are still not understanding that. But we are starting to have an influx of people, and it's more on the get rich quick side.
Definitely, okay.
Understanding. And so they get a different perspective from me, right? Because you may make a little bit of money trading and jumping into these alternative coins, but then I have something to tell you about your tax implications that you didn't think about, and or your fees, and or all these other things. That means you didn't hardly make any money. So
is it the same thing, Najah? Is it the same thing? Because I know when you play in the like brokerage account, like the traditional side, like like that's a tax now account, right? So they're gonna tax it. It's the same exact thing on the crypto side.
That's what it falls.
But every single time you switch from fiat to Bitcoin, and then so you're good at that point. Oh, fiat. Fiat is the money that we have in our pockets and our purses that has no intrinsic value other than what the government says it's worth. It is not backed by gold, folks. So, and you would not believe how many people on my poll when I'm doing an event, I ask, is our money backed by gold? And they all raise their hands.
Still, people still believe that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Chris, me and you, maybe.
Because it's weird, because, we're in this, like, we feel like we're not fully in the space, but I guess we're knowledgeable enough to know a lot of these types of things. So it's weird. Wow. It's weird to hear that, like, this isn't common, And
Correct.
They still think that the Federal Reserve is a federal entity. And I say it all the time, there's no more federal than Federal Express that's dropping it. So anyway, so it's that education that like turns people's light bulbs on, because we're not taught about money in school. We don't know how money works. And that was my first epiphany, that I can't teach people about Bitcoin if they don't even know how the heck money works. So I've got to back up and do that education. In fact, yesterday, like I did event for like 60 people, and people were literally like, and these are doctors and attorneys and real professionals, and you can see their faces on Zoom. They're like, what? And so it's like we have just not been taught this stuff. So to answer your question, yes, we're getting more of an influx of people coming in, but I really feel it's due to, and not in the community. So people hear me on Clubhouse that live in the area and they come in. But it's not the influx from the community that still doesn't understand it. So they're listening to me on Clubhouse, they're learning because that's what I offer. And then I mentioned, if somebody asks me, and this is the ironic part on Clubhouse, I don't even really mention that I have a brick and mortar unless somebody's having difficulty, like you said, T, with the wallet, or so this exchange is this. And so I'm like, well, if you can't get that together, I have a staff of 19 people. We can make sure that, you get and they're like, what? We can call, so that's the type of thing that's happening, because we haven't been, we've put it in all of our local newspapers, and my publicist has tried to get me to speak all over the place, but really the community was not yet, the community is still not there yet. They're not there. But go ahead.
No, let me ask this. Well, as you say it, and just for our listeners, right? Like me and Chris, we know that it's still early, but we're kind of like, all right, we're maybe not at phase one. We're maybe like down the road some. So would you say at this point, from let's call it a global or United States perspective, right? Are we still early adopters right now?
Yes.
We are before early adopters.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. That is like,
crazy.
wow. I just got chills. If y'all can see me.
So,
Wow, that's huge.
So another epiphany that Clubhouse has afforded me is to really understand our thinking. And the basic thing that we did was broke this thing down into Satoshis. So there's 100 pennies in a dollar. There's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. So what we've now been doing is telling people that a Satoshi, the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, is less than a penny. So if you buy some Satoshis right now, 1,000 Satoshis is 67 cents. So get yourself 10,000 Satoshis. Get yourself 100,000, not 100,000, a million Satoshis. So that's the goal, is to buy a million Satoshis. A million Satoshis right now today is $610. A million Satoshis. So what we're telling people is become a Satoshi millionaire. So now you have $610 and you have a million Satoshis, but don't start there. Start at $5, start at $10, and do what we call dollar cost averaging, which means you say, every Friday when I get paid, I'm gonna spend $20 and buy some Satoshis. And just keep doing that $20 a week until you get to a million Satoshis. And then after you get to a million Satoshis, put that in your wallet, into your cold storage wallet. And I know T said he wants to go over wallet, so we'll go.
Yeah.
And when we made that mindset shift from people automatically thinking they had to come up with $61,000 or $50,000 or $40,000, and to know that they can just start stacking sats. That's what we call it, stack sats. It just, a light bulb came on, and people are just like $5, $10. Because what I do is Cheesecake Factory is my favorite, right? So I know.
Shout out Cheesecake. There we go. You know, I used to work there, right?
Cheesecake always gets a shout out on this podcast.
D remembers. He knows. That's right. That's right. We go right back.
He probably met you because I have to have avocado egg rolls, right? I'm not even I love cheesecake, but avocado egg rolls is my favorite. But I had to forego that and say, look, I'm spending $150 at Cheesecake Factory. How about we just take that $150 and put it in the Bitcoin? And so those are some of the things, the mindset shifts that I'm trying to really share. So yeah, you go to get Starbucks 6 times a week, maybe just go 4. I'm not saying go cold turkey, but take that $20 that you're saving and buy Bitcoin. So it's easy. So even though we buy and sell cryptocurrency, I have to direct my people to other places that they can buy, because some of those are they don't have a lot of barriers to entry, such as a Cash App. I have something that's going to trump Cash App soon. So, but I send our people to Cash App because let's be real, like it's the blackest app right now, financial service-wise. Everybody has Cash App. Open up your phone, go to the 4th icon, buy $5 worth of Bitcoin right now, and keep doing that until you just start to build up your Bitcoin. So
let me ask you real quick, Najah, because you said something that I do want to jump into wallets, because I want people to have an understanding of wallets. But something you said about the stack and sacks. So let's take the people that, let's say you do have $610.
Yeah,
you recommend, you recommend,
like me, right?
You recommend not doing that and still going the stacking of sacks, or like if you have $1,000 and
I recommend you doing the 600 or the 1,000.
Okay.
What I don't recommend is you doing the 61,000.
Got you.
So just like in financial services, somebody sits down and says how much they can afford to put away. I cut that in half. If it's $60,000, put $30,000 in and dollar cost average that other 30,000 into Bitcoin, because you'll catch the lows and you'll catch the highs doing it that way. But if you just jump in and that summer drops to 50,000, then you're sweating. But we make sure that everybody has that psyche, because I'm telling you, you're going to buy this, and I'm going to tell you next week it may be less. So we jumped in at 2017, and we sat for an entire year at about 4,500, 5,000, 5,500. and we called it crypto winter. Like it was absolutely crickets. You didn't hear anybody say nothing about Bitcoin for a year. And but that gave me time to build and really figure out how do we approach our folks with this. And so now we're here, the time is right, and so I'm excited. So we're going to wallets or whatever.
Yeah, so let's talk about wallets. Go ahead, T.
Well, no, I was going to say, okay, so now I guess let's start from the beginning, right? Like, well, you kind of started with the mindset. So let's say if someone like myself, right, just use me as an example, I think I'll be a good case study. Started hearing about it, 17, bought some, have a few $1,000s already, you know, worth of Bitcoin. Looking to now, obviously, you're looking like, hey, should I hold this? Should I start trading some? Like, what's that next like step for someone that may already be in a little already in the game, if you will?
So I say everybody has a price. Everything is for sale at some point, right? So
right. Yeah.
People that say that they're not going to sell Bitcoin, and then you got us who actually get into Bitcoin. And we're looking for when we're going to spend it or how much it's going to grow so we can spend it. So again, another mindset shift has to happen. We have to be looking at Bitcoin, and this is just my opinion. Again, no financial advice, information purposes only. Right. Based on what I see, I understand that you're going to at some point sell, but the question is when. So are you willing to forego making sure that your children's children have a legacy to just really get rid of your Bitcoin quick? I've seen so many people that sold and now they can't get back in and hold the amount of Satoshis they had. They sold it because when it hit 25, like they went all out. Like I need 100, I need this 100,000. So let me sell this for Bitcoin. Well, that is now what, double, right? So now they'd have 800,000. A lot of us would have millions of dollars had we not sold or lost our Bitcoin in some shape, form, or fashion. So for me, it's just, I'm not willing to part with my Bitcoin now for anything. I have a juicer on my counter that I was so excited that Bed Bath & Beyond was accepting Bitcoin that I went and bought for 150 bucks. Right now, 2 years later, that juicer is worth $2,100. Like, why should I? Why did I? Like, that's silly. Like, it's silly. Yeah. And now I'm growing up in Bitcoin and I'm understanding we have a store of value. And one thing I want to share with the listeners is you can absolutely trade because people win. A lot of people win, but a lot of people lose too. And they show you the losing side. And there's so many scams out here that are targeted for our people because we want to get in and get rich quick. So if you have any listeners really quick that are approached by anybody that tells you that you can put $2,000 or $3,000 in to trade, and they take that couple of $1,000s, they put it on a website, and you can see that it's grown from 2,000 to 3,000, and now it's 7. Before you pull that 7 out in the 2 weeks allotted time, they want you to send another 2,000. The whole 4. So just understand there's a scam happening right now, huge in our community that has to do with us still having that mindset that I can get 2,000 and turn it into 7. And they're showing it to you on the computer, but you're not getting it out, right? And then you have to send money before they'll even release that part. And it's just a big, huge scam. And it's like 7 out of 10 of our community members are coming in and saying, man, I fell for that. And I'm telling you, do not do it. Buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin yourself. But as you talk about the type of trading that you're doing, T, I have mixed emotions about it. Because again, you've got tax implications. So anytime you move from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you've created a taxable event. And then you go from Ethereum back into money, you created a taxable event. Or you go Ethereum back into Bitcoin. So eventually, and the IRS hasn't had the manpower to really deal with the tax stuff the last couple of years. But if you notice this year, it's on the front page of the tax return, which means they're putting together departments. And you better be telling the truth because they have 3 years to audit you or forever hold their peace. But if you do not indicate that your trading have been gifted, so if you got airdrops or any of that, it's considered you're dealing with cryptocurrency and you check no, they have an infinite amount of time to come back and prosecute you. So that's the difference. You check yes, they've got 3 years, or they can't say anything else to you. Or you check no, and they're coming all the way back.
Well, you know, it's funny. I just met with my CPA. Shout out to CP, right? We're gonna have one podcast.
CP. Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, hey, CP, I said, most of my stuff was done like at the beginning of 2021. I did a little bit back in 2020. Do I really need to? He was like, T, let me stop you right there. He said, let me stop you right there. He go, and everything, Najah, you just said, it was like he recorded it, sent it to you so you can say it again to me, right? He was like, I want every single, he said, every time you change it, put a period on it, T, that's tax. Every single time. So listeners out there, if you're on Coinbase, you're on your Robinhoods, you're on, coin, whatever, there's a couple, 10,000 coin places there are. If you are, trust and believe, this is good stuff. My CPA said, I have to put that out there.
He just said two no-nos. So I'm gonna help him really, really quick.
Let's go.
Real quick.
You getting into wallets now, Najah?
No. No okay. Robinhood, no PayPal, no Webull, and no SoFi. They do not allow you to take custody of your Bitcoin at all. It does not belong to you. You're buying their Bitcoin. They're holding it on their books. And then when you get ready to take possession of your Bitcoin and hold it for your family, you're not able to pull it off.
Let me ask you, Najah, with that.
Say those again, though. Say
the four again. I have a question.
Robinhood, Webull, and SoFi.
Okay.
And is that the reason why on Robinhood? So it's funny you say that, Najah, because I have my Robinhood account, right, for my options and stuff like that. So is that why you can see that difference sometimes in price, like when you're looking at it to different areas?
Every single exchange has a different price for Bitcoin. And we probably need more than this to just kind of school you guys.
Yeah.
Quickly, you shouldn't be on Robinhood anyway. Robinhood is Robin the Hood.
Robin the Hood, okay.
I don't care what it is. That was not designed for you to win. So you need to be looking at a TD Ameritrade, the fees,
have that
stuff like some issues. So, but in Bitcoin, those are the 4 no-nos to not do. But then Coinbase is historically notorious for shutting down when you need to trade at a critical point. They just shut down.
Aren't they backed by like government or something? Didn't the government jump in and do something with Coinbase at some point?
They're about to go public some other stuff, but
yes, they are.
And I'm not going to go into it, but I absolutely cannot stand Coinbase.
What would you recommend, Najah? Because you named all the top ones, right? Like this is where everybody goes: Robinhood, PayPal, Coinbase.
But that's the mindset shift. You're not doing this to do what mainstream. We're not doing banks. So when you deal with a Coinbase, you're dealing with kind of like the bank, because again, you wire money in, takes them 7 or 10 days to execute to even let you pull out your Bitcoin. That's not
the way it's supposed to go.
That's not what this is about. Yeah. So if you had to use an exchange, I tell you to go to Binance US or Kraken or Gemini. Gemini is the cheapest Bitcoin. There are 34,000 people that sell Bitcoin. Coinbase is just the name we hear because they were there when it started. But Coinbase's treatment of their Black employees and women is another reason you shouldn't be at Coinbase. Just Google it. You will see that Brian Armstrong gives a rat's you know what about Blacks and women. So he's made it, but he's vocal about that. So you just need to understand that, which is another reason why I just absolutely will not. But if you must use Coinbase, like some people are like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Like all things, go with the best price. So don't use Coinbase, use Coinbase Pro because their fees are less. Why is that? Because he's ripping you off on Coinbase, but Coinbase Pro is where the lesser amount of fees are. But Gemini, Kraken, Binance US are much, much better.
I feel so much better. I moved some stuff over to Binance US. I was talking to Danny from last week, and I'm in Binance US, and I have my Trust wallet and all that stuff. So if you don't mind, let's transition to wallets.
Real quick. Let me jump in, and then we'll transition into wallets, because you just said two things that again I want people to highlight. Again, me being in the financial services space, you understand how this goes, right? Like taxes are your largest lifetime expense. So please understand that you've got to, like, the government's going to have their hand out so all of this trading, all the stuff that you're doing, you have to pay attention to taxes if you're trying to build any form of wealth. So that's why the buy and hold strategy is going to be so much better. And I'm glad you said that, Najah, because that's what we have to understand. That is the mindset shift. That's what I try to get to explain to people, is that, listen, this is a long-term investment. This is long-term. If you don't have a mindset of anything long-term, you're just gambling. You're just playing around. You're trying to get in, get out, just get rich quick. And that's not how we're building wealth. Building wealth is what? Slow and boring. And people want it quick and fast and exciting. And that's not the way it works. So you hit that on the head. And for all you listeners and everyone that's tuning in, guys, please understand that taxes are your largest lifetime expense. You've got to make sure whatever you are doing in your financial world, that you are avoiding those taxes. So trading, obviously, as you heard, might not be the thing you want to do.
Yeah, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. So I make that disclaimer, but let's dive in again. Let's talk about wallets, because this is important. I'll be transparent. This is one of the things I got burned a bit in 2017. ICOs and all this stuff that's happening, and I'm like, oh, all these altcoins, and this is a way. Again, my mindset was probably at that time, could this be the thing? Like, could I get a quick something out of this? So got eager to it, lost a bunch of money. But at the end of the day, what I started to realize was that there was real, there was something real here with blockchain, with crypto. However, the side that I started to see that also kept me shaky was where to keep it. The wallets, because there was a lot of security issues back in the day. I remember multiple people saying, my wallet got hacked. I lost my key. All this stuff happened. I lost all my Bitcoin. And I was like, this is just, it seemed like the Wild Wild West for a little bit. It's like anyone could take it. Anyone could get it. Like, how do we keep it secure? So I know that's what we start talking about when we're looking at wallets. So explain to the listeners, what is a wallet? How do you keep it secure? What are you looking for in order to put your money there?
So really quickly, a digital wallet is exactly like your wallet or your wallet you have in your back pocket or your purse. So it's where you keep your digital money, right? So I'm different from everybody else. I teach in 4 types of wallets. There's 4. Okay. So number 1, I call it a hot wallet. That's your Coinbase wallet, your Gemini, your Kraken, your Cash App, your not even PayPal, but those are what I call hot wallets. Those are custodial wallets. Those are exchanges. When you go and exchange your fiat, your money for crypto, and you hold it. But we have a saying that says, not your keys, not your coin. Even though you can pull your Bitcoin off of those platforms, they actually hold your private keys and should move it. If they get hacked, if anything happens, your Bitcoin goes along with them. 90% of the hacks that happen, they're inside jobs because there's somebody that worked there and know the protocol, yada, yada, yada. It's not some Russian sitting somewhere. It's not that. It's some inside type of thing. So you just always need to be aware, not your keys, not your coin. You don't have it with any of the exchanges. Our exchange, you can exchange fiat or Bitcoin, but we put it into either that's a hot wallet, custodial, and then you have a warm wallet. So we get your fiat, we send it to your warm wallet because immediately you take possession, you are in control. It's a non-custodial type of thing because we want you to have your keys to your coin. So that's what a warm wallet is. That's a trust wallet, like you just said. I deal with Edge wallet because they're great for newbies. There is a Exodus wallet, which is great. I know the guys that started that as well. So there's a bunch of warm wallets, and all that is they're halfway online and halfway offline, but you have your private keys. You can pick up your phone, you can see your Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency and do whatever you need to do through that wallet. That's the warm wallet.
Talk about what a key is real quick, just like
a key is it's either some seed words, 12 or 24 words, or it's a random amount of numbers and letters that allow you access to the blockchain to get your Bitcoin off. So on these, so your Bitcoin is not stored on Edge or I'll talk about Ledger or Trezor in a minute. Your Bitcoin is not stored on these devices. Your keys are stored on there. Your Bitcoin is stored on the blockchain, and these devices allow you access to get through to get your Bitcoin off. So a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, if I lose my phone or if I lose my cold storage device, cold wallet, that I don't have my Bitcoin anymore. You absolutely do, as long as you have your seed phrases, mnemonic phrases, passwords, that's what they're called. So you have your hot wallets, then you have your cold or your warm wallets, and then you have your cold wallets, which are Trezor, Ledger, KeepKey. There's tons of those, YubiKey. And again, all of those are designed where you plug it in to your computer, and that is when you're able to trade and put your Bitcoin on the blockchain through those devices. So those are cold storages. And then there's what I call ice cold, which are the sheets of paper that have Bitcoin on it. And that comes out of a Bitcoin ATM machine, or there's companies that have these papers that they spit out, and on it, it has both your public key and your private key, or your public address and your private address. And so you can put those sheets of paper in your safe or your safe deposit box and keep those. And then when you get ready to cash in on your Bitcoin or whatever you do, you just go to the computer and you access the blockchain with that sheet of paper. And then your Bitcoin is able to be sent maybe to Binance or Edge or Ledger, depending. But the world, crypto space is changing, because now you can buy Bitcoin right inside a Ledger. You don't have to go to Binance anymore. You can get an Edge wallet. I give everybody an Edge wallet. They're free. You can buy Bitcoin right inside an Edge wallet. What's the difference? Convenience. Because you buy it on Binance US. Now you got to pay mining fees or those fees to move it from there to your trust wallet. So you've created a small, it's not a taxable event, but you have a mining fee. Yeah. And now you want to move it from your trust wallet into your cold storage, and now you've created another. So you've had 2 transaction fees that have eaten a little bit of your Satoshis up. So why not now just get it from Ledger, get a Ledger, buy it inside a Ledger. It may look to you, and I want to say this quickly about these wallets and these exchanges. Everybody has a different price for Bitcoin, but the bottom line is everybody's price is between 3 and 5%. They just don't say it. They may say, oh, this week there's no trading fees, but there are trading fees because you're going to pay more for your Bitcoin. So over here, your Bitcoin may be 61,200, but if you go to Coinbase, it's 61,800, because the price differential is where they make up. So just know they're going to get their money.
Of course.
Yeah.
But they make it, they package it all different. So everybody's like, oh, I go here because of the fee. The fee is the same. They just figured out how to package it differently. So we as an exchange start out at 3%. We eat your mining fee coming from us to your wallet. So in essence, you're paying us a 3%, which you get customer service, way better customer service, but then we pay the mining fee. So if you give us 1,000 and the 3%, which is $30, then we take the mining fee, which is $5 or $6 out of that 30, and you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. You do the same thing on Binance. You're going to pay for the transfer. So you got $6 coming out of that 1,000 plus whatever they charge you. And then you're doing another transfer. So we just try to cut out some of those fees. So that's the difference in wallets.
Well, Najah, I will say this. Just over the last 60 days or so, when I started really deep diving in to try to figure this out, what you have said on this 30, 40 minutes we've been on could have literally saved me 60 days of heartache and trying to figure this out, and a loss of money. You talk about the changing. Every time I went from one to the next, I started off with sending $500, right, to test it. I ended up, when I finally got it to where I needed it to be, it was $424 just in fees, because I was going from wallet to exchange to Coinbase back to Binance, trying to flip it, trying to get it onto the farming and all. And I know that's a whole nother topic, right? But trying to do all this stuff but just the level of service and explanation that you just gave for all of our listeners, it's a gold mine. It's an absolute gold mine, what you just said. That took me 60 days to figure out, and you still helped me figure out the last leg of it that I knew I didn't even know yet. I realized I didn't even know yet.
This is
so
why
I just want to put that out there.
This is why education is so important. We talk about it all the time. And again, that's why we wanted to have you guys on, because this is what we believe in. If you don't know something, the question is, where can you go? Where can you go to get educated on it, right? Like I say this all the time to our clients, the people we're talking to, right? Who teaches you money? Who teaches you money? Like where are you supposed to get it, right? Like, so finding these resources like Najah, like Dimitri, right? They're in the game. Like they want to help. They want to help our community. They want you to win. They want you to be a millionaire. Like they want you to win. So like go to people like this and get the information that you need, because it'll absolutely change your life financially and otherwise. So, we appreciate that. Any couple things you guys want to add and kind of wrap up that people should know if they're just like kind of new getting into the game, or like, I know we talked about education, but what do you think people really should be focusing on right now? Because, stimulus money is coming for most people. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what our community really does. But give us some
and
like kind of
drops.
That's right. Give us some closing stuff, guys.
That was huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I figured that, hopefully our people do invest or get Bitcoin or some type of crypto. But what I tell people, because people call me all the time and they'll say, okay, what I tell them, I said, look, if you need this money in 6 months to a year, you don't need to put it in. You don't need to purchase it. It's not for you. This is something, I want you to look at this as a long game, right? Because you're not going to get rich off of it quick. It may go up and down. It's very volatile. But I want you to sit back and look at this as a long game. So when in another 5 years, see where it's at. Put this money away, because what we see as a future for this is going to be like the gold standard. I think Bitcoin is going to be the gold standard of crypto. Bitcoin will be bagging other cryptos. It's going to be like, oh, we bagged our new crypto with Bitcoin or Satoshi. It's going to be at that level. And right now, if you get in, because the great thing is that it's not just in America, this is a global thing right here. So once people see that it's global, and the governments can't really stop it because people continue to do what they do on a community level globally, that it can grow and grow and grow. And there's only 21 million that can be mined, right? And so what that means is that the prices are going to continue to rise and rise and rise. So eventually, whatever you put in, if there's 1 million Satoshis, or a couple 100,000, that's going to be a value that is raised. Now, if you really look at it as a long game, it could be at a level where, okay, my children can enjoy this, or my grandchildren. Now it's where you don't have to spend it, you can borrow against it. So you don't have to, you can borrow against your coins and use that money and then repay it and still have the same amount of coin and join in the appreciation of it, of the value. So there's many different ways where you don't have to spend it, but you can hold it as a stored value. So that's what I want people to know. Hey, this is something that you can use as a long-term legacy bill for you and your family, and that can be a way to break the wealth gap that we have in front of us. Completely broken.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I would like for everybody to do is, if you have any questions about scams or how to do this or wallets or any of that, come see me on Clubhouse Monday through Friday. If you're on the East Coast, it's from 3 to 5. Or if you're on the West Coast, that's from 12 to 2. I'm there Monday through Friday answering questions. That's all I do, is answer questions, not about coins. I want everybody to really be careful to learn about alternative coins before they get involved. Because there's communities out there laughing at us specifically because we're putting our money in the stuff that has absolute no value, and they're doing it on purpose. And so while they're buying Bitcoin, we're buying the dog coin, right?
I knew he was gonna say it.
Yeah, and they're laughing, right? And they got Snoop Dogg to help you do that. And they're like Rambos buying this stuff, and we out, and it's buffoonery. So what we need to do is just really be careful. As T said, you're gonna go down this rabbit hole. You really need to focus. This is the time you're gonna be ahead of millions of people. We're not even at the beginning of this thing. And so I just ask everyone to just really, really stay focused on the marathon and not the sprint.
Yeah.
Because the marathon is gonna pay you way better than this sprint you're trying to get.
Well, Najah, I know we thank you so much. I got one last question, if you don't mind. I got one last question. And I know you get the question probably a lot. It doesn't sound like you're much of a speculator, but we know we got some speculators that's listening. In the next, let's call it 5 years, where do you see the price of Bitcoin being? If you would amuse us.
So I would talk specifically about Bitcoin, and you gave a word for what you think I am, which I'm moving there. I'm a recovering coinaholic. Okay.
Okay.
But tax will learn you, darn you. That's what I tell you. So anyway, so where do I see Bitcoin going? I literally will bet my last dollar on the fact that 100 million Satoshis that equal a Bitcoin, one Satoshi will be equivalent to $1. So if you hold one Bitcoin, eventually, I am a firm believer it's going to be at $100 million. I may not see it in my lifetime. My kids' children may, but I'm willing to do what I need to do right now to make sure we have enough Bitcoin in our family so that $100 million is this is legacy type of wealth that we obtain. So why would I be selling it or flipping it or loaning it to somebody else that may then run away with it? So if you're taking loans against your Bitcoin, be very careful if you have to give them your private keys and your Bitcoin. Just be very careful. It works. I have an adult son. He needed to buy a car, so he didn't want to sell his Bitcoin. So he traded his Bitcoin in, he got all his money, he bought his car cash, and then he went back and paid and got his Bitcoin back. It does work, but you just have to understand what platforms to get it, to do it on, and how to be safe and make sure that you get your Bitcoin back. Because he'd be sick right now if he had
I bet.
if he had $100,000 Ford Excursion, right? so those are the things you have to look at. So, but I really believe by the end of this year, is my opinion that we're gonna be well over $100,000.
You heard it. You heard it here, y'all. You heard it here. This is the time. Buy and hold. Stop playing around, right? Like, stop trying to think that you're just gonna get in and get out. This is not the game. The game is generational wealth. The game is changing your family's legacy, right? The wealth gap, switching, closing, however you want to look at this. But this is a real opportunity. You guys heard this, like, this was mind blowing because again, like T and I said earlier, we're kind of like 1 foot in, we're in, but we're not fully in. So the way I was thinking, I know the way T was thinking is like, man, there's a lot of people already in, like, we're already kind of late, right? Because we're back in 2017 and we're thinking that's early. And now you guys come on and say, we are incredibly early, even at this point. And so for everyone that's listening, that follows us and that, wants to give their perspective or, hear our perspective, guys, jump in and start this process. Get with Najah and Dimitri. If you're out in the LA area, like, swing by. What's the place called?
It's called Crypto Blockchain Plug. Crypto Blockchain Plug.
That's it.
And just basically, they can be anywhere in the US. We have a actual person you can pick up the phone and call. But just try our services in addition to whatever else you're doing, so you can see the difference. Like, it's like night and day. You have your Bitcoin, you do your KYC, you have your Bitcoin in your wallet within seconds. All that other hustling and bustling is not necessary. But again, you just have to know, where to go. So we have the plug.
There we go.
Right? So
well, you got a new client today, Najah.
Two of them.
You got 2 of them today. I'm telling you right now. You got 2 more today. I'm going ahead and become a millionaire. The Tashi millionaire.
That's it.
Absolutely. But we look forward to helping you, and that's what we're here for. If you need anything, like I said, you can find me every day in the hallway of Clubhouse under Crypto Virgins. I teach the Crypto Virgin Hour. So my goal is to teach the basics and get you out of there. So when you go in those other rooms, you know what they're talking about. And before you get cursed out on some of those other ones talking about alternative coins, just understand some of them boys ain't playing about Bitcoin like they are ready to fight.
Absolutely.
They will block you. So
absolutely. And that ties in because you guys that have been listening heard that we talked about Clubhouse, right? Episode 1, we talked about Clubhouse. Another reason why you should be on the platform is because you get a chance to listen to people like Najah and Dimitri give you game, just free game. She told you Monday through Friday, 2 hours a day, she is there giving you free game. So instead of you having to fall for the scam or the person that hits you up in your DM that you don't know, go to the plug, right? Go to the person that has the information and they're giving it out for free. Because trust me, we want you to win, right? People out there want you to win. It's not all a scam. Like there's people that are good people. That's why we're bringing people onto the podcast. It's because we know that there are good people out there that want you to have the information to get to where you want to be. So you know where to find them. What about Instagram? Give them your handle. Give them where else they can find you outside of Clubhouse.
If you just Google Crypto Plug, you'll find us everywhere. Crypto Plug. We're on Instagram as Crypto Plug 3. We're on Twitter, Crypto Plug, Crypto Blockchain Plug. So just check us out. We post every single day. This is what we do. We know what trends our community needs to be hearing about. And so we make sure we're reporting those things above anything else. So yeah, check us out. We'd love to have you. I also do free events for like Bitcoin business basics. I have a Wine Women in Crypto. I have a Cryptos Masters. Where we do like everything we do is crypto oriented. We have Coinomics where you can come and hear about the different cryptocurrencies and the coins. I have a Crypto Kids Camp. We have a Bitcoin Buys or Us. We're actually the first distributor for Ledger in the United States. So we are authorized reseller of Ledger. We're on their website. So if you lose track of us, go to Ledger. Look for us back there and you can find us again. So we have a bunch of different stuff that we're doing. You can buy, sell houses, cars with Bitcoin, and we'll be the ones that broker those deals and help you get that done in the fiat world. So those are the things that we do. So come check us out and looking forward to working with you.
That is huge. That is huge. So we appreciate you guys coming on. And as always, for those of you that are listening, right, like connect with them, connect with us. We want to hear your perspective. We want to hear your perspective on crypto, on Bitcoin, on any of the things that you heard today on the podcast. Reach out, hit us up. You know, T and I want to have the conversation with you. If you're a believer in it, if you're not, if you think it's all a big scam or it's all a big hoax or whatever you believe, whatever your perspective is, come share it with us because we want to hear it and we want to be able to share our perspective. You got a chance to hear it from Najah and Dimitri today, and we want to continue to move this forward. So T, sign us off, man. Let the people know.
I'll just say mine is blown. Like I have so many other questions. Najah, we're gonna have to probably ask y'all to come back. Najah and Dimi, y'all gotta come back.
Yeah, you know what? Have us come back because I got something coming down the pipe that is going to rock the cryptocurrency space. Because I'm coming after some Coinbase heads and some Cash App heads. So just make sure, have us back because I want to show you guys what's really about to happen. What's up to happen? What's in store?
Look, you know how they start. You know the movie, they say you had me at hello, you had me at, well, we're before early adopters. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you. We know, it's a time difference, but you guys were up, lively with us. And, I know the audience is going to love this one. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
That's
all right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Till next time, guys, we're signing off for the Perspective Podcast. God bless.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Perspective Podcast. We hope this conversation made you think a bit deeper, gain some insight, or even possibly gain a brand new perspective. If you did enjoy it, do us a favor, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, Anchor, or anywhere else you stream. Leave a review to help more people experience these conversations and potentially change their perspective as well. And lastly, as always, T and I want you to connect with us. So follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can find us just by using our names. And there we get a chance to hear your perspective. Until next time, God bless.